And have the Pledge of Allegiance.
Having issues with athletics and COVID issues in their schools. And so that has obviously been a change since then. Another thing that we put together to try to help gain medical information for decision making for the district is we put together a medical panel of physicians and nurses along with health department and different people who not only have stakeholders medically in the community, but also have children that attend our schools as students, and would be good people to help give us additional information. And so the last 2 weeks, as we've been making decisions on what schedule we should be in and health guidelines for schools, we have been talking to the people on that medical panel. And so this evening we would like the board, if there's any discussion on that, and then also we have gone through in your packet is the reopening plan where we have changed what was originally saying just that we were meeting with the health department, and we are indeed meeting with a medical panel at this point to get lots of different opinions on what's best for our students. So that is the main change in there for you tonight.
So you're meeting with the medical panel every Monday?
Yes, we are. We're trying. They're being very nice and gracious to help us with that, and so we're trying to get phone calls out with opinions each Monday. Yep.
Probably for the foreseeable future.
Yep. Until anything changes, that will be our plan going forward.
So I didn't know, you did change it in our plan.
Yes, and it is.
Okay, I didn't
yes,
see that.
Dr. Kern uploaded that into your packet today, and so that is all changed in there. A very similar plan to what we obviously have been running, just different information coming from different medical entities in the community. And we really appreciate those people for stepping up and working on that for us. It's nice to have the different opinions.
So that the medical, that's a recommendation to us, or?
Yes, well, it would be an update to the reopening plan, and so that we move to that.
But we could change, the board could change it if we want to go different than what the medical says?
The board could, sure.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's all recommendations.
Okay,
So,
I just wanted to make sure that it's a recommendation.
yes, it's set up as a recommendation. So,
What is the medical board getting? They're getting the information from the health department?
but,
Is
yes.
it like
Yeah, a
what
lot
we
of them
wanted,
help from their offices.
where we wanted to know what was going on?
So
in our
so
meeting area?
the thing about the medical panel is they're working in this environment every day, and so they not only have the information that they can get from the health department, but they can also get information from their offices that they're working in daily. So they're part of that environment anyway.
I feel comfortable with that because they're seeing, the people are coming to them or calling them or getting their advice on what to do
Yes.
in Wellington. And then we do have the lady from Caldwell, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And her students actually go to Wellington schools, but she
Okay.
works in Caldwell.
Yeah,
So.
well, so I feel a lot more comfortable knowing that our medical people are looking at the numbers and people that come in to their place of employment.
I did actually just before the meeting see where the governor allotted a whole bunch more funding for. They're going to start testing non-symptomatic people now in education, public service type stuff. So that'll help us.
Will that be by request or will that be,
I don't think it's mandatory. I think
Okay,
you can, if you
if you want to
If
be
you
able
want
to do
to,
that now, yeah.
you can just if you work in the school non-symptomatic, you're eligible for a test. Whereas now you have to have symptoms to be tested.
That doesn't help a whole lot.
Guess the question then would be the availability of the testing.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. They've somehow got a bunch of money, and I don't know how quick it's going to take to dwindle down to us.
The biggest
we'll
issue.
see how that unfolds. We still get weekly KSD updates, so that should be a part of things as we go.
The biggest issue will be how long it'll take to get the results.
Yeah. And I know last I'd heard they were working on getting rapid testing locally, but I think it's fairly expensive and it is
Yeah.
something that's kind of hard to, obviously in big demand right now, so.
So you don't feel like we need to vote to add this committee? I mean, I'm fine if it's,
Yeah, you're welcome to. I mean, we've changed it in the plan.
Yeah.
If the board would like to vote on it, you're welcome to. If you're comfortable with the plan as it stands, then
whatever the rest of you think, cause
we can leave it.
I just wanna make sure, cause I know last time at the meeting, I felt like, several people that spoke felt like, we'd be going against what we said in our original, packet. And I answered a couple people myself that in all our conversations, we were talked about how it was fluid and we had to be, you know, flexible, and so this document's okay right now, but it could change at any time.
Right.
Without, I guess, adding that to it, people were trying, you know, thought we should be held to just the health department, so.
And if you can put in there, it's a recommendation, it's not like that, because there's a lot of people asking about, well, why is medical saying we can go back to school and not the school board? So you could put like, it's a recommendation.
Sure.
And the board is taking up that recommendation.
Correct. Yep, that's
Gotcha.
absolutely what's happening.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
And right now, there's 6 people, correct?
There is 6, and we may add a 7th, and if so, we'll let you know.
Didn't know if I could dream that. That's what
Yeah.
this is sitting
We
at.
originally talked 7, and we
Yeah.
ended up with 6 we felt
Yeah.
real good about, and if we end up adding a 7th that we feel good about in the future,
Yeah.
I will let you know.
Okay.
So, but as of now, yeah, it's been 6.
So our recommendations are for 1 more week or 2 more weeks?
The panel today recommended that we are in hybrid next week based off of the information they have today. We've been trying to give our families a week to make sure they're set up for the following week, which is, it's not the way we would love to give people, lots and lots of time, but with numbers changing every week, it's reactive to community health, so.
And they did say, the panel did say that there were quite a few in Wellington. The percentage of positive tests were actually
Yes.
Wellington,
Yes.
so
Yep.
that's something else too.
That's what we wanted to know.
Yeah, I think that's important too.
Yep.
I really want to open, but I also
Sure.
see what other towns are having to
Yeah.
go through, and I think
Yeah,
I've
we
thrown
all-
Derby up to Adam about every time we meet.
Yeah.
My daughter-in-law works there, and I just keep saying, well, Derby, well, Derby, well, Derby. I won't say that anymore because
No.
they're having lots of trouble, and
Yes.
they open up real fast, and so.
Yeah.
As much as I want to open, I think the right thing to do is,
Well, at least we're able to expose the students to some
you know, the
Yeah.
band's getting to do the band, the extracurricular activities are happening, and
in-school learning.
Okay.
I know it's not perfect.
no, it's certainly not what's best, but
We're lucky on the
Yeah, this
extracurricular
part.
activities that we've been getting as much
Yeah.
done as we have so far.
Yes.
Because some schools haven't been able to get that much.
and they're shutting down if they have started, so.
Adam, on
Yes.
like week 3, we got 5 staff out sick.
that's what
Are
I'm
you
saying.
starting to see that a trend that we're getting more staff members getting?
There's been more sick each week that we've been in school. That doesn't mean that that's COVID necessarily related, but would have symptoms related. That doesn't mean that they have COVID by any means. So I don't want to put that out there. But we would just have illness symptoms.
Okay.
That would be a reason for them to stay home based off of.
Right, you said 2 were tested for COVID, so not all.
How is that, how are those numbers any different than a non-COVID, like last year, year before? Roughly,
We have not tracked it like this. Obviously, we track when students come in and out of the nurse's office and stuff like that in the past, but the pre-COVID world did not track
Right.
things like we're tracking things now.
Yeah.
So that's a hard comparison at this point.
And these numbers in your memo are, that's the whole district, isn't it?
Correct.
Not just the high school.
That's
Yeah.
that's the whole district.
Okay, I was wondering that too.
well, it
That
seems
was-
like you look at that and you're kind of shocked.
Well, that
But
number
then-
jumped out at you.
But then if, we find out last year it's within 5 or 10% of that, you could
Yeah.
say that's just a normal
Every
trend.
year, yeah. So I can't, and that Yeah, it is not meant to.
So you don't have like last year?
No, I do not.
It's kinda like the water bill when we were looking at it and then we said, what is this? And we looked and it's always been that high. So, it might be one of those kind of things.
And it may be,
It's-
and I can't give you a comparison. That's-
Yeah, you never know.
I think I might have asked this already, but like the 65 students absent or out sick, those were people that called in sick, or could part of it be because they didn't log on that day and we don't know, or?
Yeah,
Are these-
my understanding from talking to Ms. Parkey is those are students that are out sick with any of the symptoms that we're tracking.
Okay.
Does not mean that they have COVID, does not mean anything, it could
Right.
be, could be allergies, could be
Right,
the.
right, but
it's-
they were kind of documented, they aren't just kids that didn't log in that day,
Correct,
okay?
Yeah.
Cause that would make a difference too.
yes, yes.
Okay,
So it wouldn't include a remote student who might be sick too?
Correct, yeah, remote students would be remote, so.
Okay, so these are just the ones that are in hybrid?
Right.
Okay.
anything else? Okay, I would like to discuss, of course, the ticket situation, and it's just because like after last week's game, they couldn't, standing outside the gate, they couldn't give them all away. People had extra and couldn't give them away, and I think we could open up and not mess with tickets, and I don't think we'd see a problem, because when I went to Andale, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you don't have to have, anybody can go if they want, you don't have to have a ticket. They didn't say anything about masks, but you get there, and it was just a small crowd. Everybody from Andale had masks on, and they didn't have any guidelines.
Well, the only thing, the more and more I go, and I don't go out a lot because I am protected by my husband. But when I go to the grocery store and I go to Walmart, a few times that I have been, there are more and more people not wearing masks. And that's our key for us to get to where we could go full time, so that we don't have incidents of COVID, is for people to wear their masks and be protective of others. So my fear is, okay, you open it up and people will think, well, I don't have to wear my mask.
No, but you say you have to have a mask.
Okay,
Yeah.
I would certainly say you
Yeah,
have to wear a mask, but
absolutely.
we're just never gonna have 600 people there.
Is that already in place at the football stadium, like for the 25%?
So
I think so.
we've had two football games as far as varsity. We've had two football games. The first football game we limited 25% capacity. We watched the stands and got a feeling for what we were dealing with, and then this last game we increased that to 50% capacity because we felt better about increasing it, which is also what we're running in our schools right now. So I feel like that's fairly
that's
comfortable
fair.
to let our community know that we're running our activities like we are schools. We are limiting more at inside events. Volleyball is more limited than the outdoor events.
and that makes sense too.
So we've just been trying to make good decisions with that. I know that Mr. Smith is trying to move from a paper ticketing system to an electronic ticketing system to try to save some trees and make that a better situation. I suppose, and I completely understand what you're saying, Pat. I think that on one hand, it may never happen, that it opens up. At the same time, you're also telling your community that you're trying to, to keep it at a level that's similar to what you're trying to do with your schools. And so I think it sends a good message as well. But yeah, you're right. I mean,
It's
it
just really
may happen, it may
frustrating,
not happen. You just don't know
You
who's
spend
gonna
all
show
week
up.
trying to find tickets.
I think
It's
Deanna was asking, do we have a strict max policy at the football stadium? Is that being enforced and?
If I wouldn't say it's being enforced, no.
Okay.
I would say that people are recommended and encouraged to do it, but
Okay.
it's not being enforced.
Oh, you mean wear a mask?
Yeah.
We're not kicking people out
Okay.
for,
tasing them.
Right.
So I guess where I'm trying to go is, you open it up to 50%, where are those tickets? Is it 4 to a student now or participant, or is
The
it?
second game, it was 4 to a student, yes.
Okay.
So it's still not open up to the public to go and go to the game?
No, there have been some additional tickets that Mr. Smith ended up giving out in the office towards the end of the day, offering to the student body to come in, and student body that maybe was not one of the players that's there that night, but
Okay.
could come and get some extra tickets type thing, to try to, encourage our families that are directly involved in the school to do it.
And I understand it's very important for the athletes too, to have that fan participation. It does make a big difference. And we've always had a good fan base. I just want everybody to be cautious.
See, I don't fear the adults sitting in the stands watching the game. It's the 50 kids running underneath the stands with no mask on. That's where my concern is. So
Yeah.
I would much rather see, and this is just my opinion, instead of them getting 4 tickets, I'd rather see it go to adult fans to be able to come in the community to watch. That way, we don't have all these students running underneath the bleachers. Because if are you guys? I'm assuming there's no control over what happens with those tickets when the student picks it up. I mean, because they could easily hand it to 3 of their buddies.
Yeah,
To go
and that's
watch
what
the
they do,
game.
which is good.
And I mean, I get that, but
Yeah.
at the same time, if there's no mask enforcement, that's where COVID's spreading. It's not in the classroom with the mask on. It's at the football game. So,
But
I'd
that's
rather
part of the
see-
problem with the limited tickets families are finding out. You get 2 tickets, your son gets 2 tickets, and you've got 5 people in your family, so then you've gotta find a babysitter. And so I think if we start limiting it, where kids can't go, you're gonna,
No, I'm not saying kids can't go. I'm saying with no mask enforcement there, when you got the kids running underneath, the kids aren't sitting watching the games. They're running around. They're playing with their friends, and if they don't have those masks on, that's where I fear the spread being, not so much in the stands with grandma and grandpa watching the game. Sitting, with their family. I don't know how it's looking at the games. I mean, I don't know if there is a lot of running around like there was last,
There
in
is.
prior years.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Jason? I'm sorry.
No, it's like,
There is a lot of running
There
around.
is.
just like normal, yeah.
I was selling tickets and there was noticeably more kids coming through the gate than there was the first game.
Okay.
That's what they give them for.
Right.
I wish there was a way, I know there's some adults out in the community that they wanna go to the game, but they don't have any way to get those tickets. They're fans, but they don't have kids and I don't know how to get them tickets. They would like to go.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's definitely something we can look into. I mean, I think ticketing is an imperfect science at every event in the world, but I think that we can, we can try to make things better.
But I know at one of the volleyball games, Luke sent out a deal that said, hey, we got some extra tickets. And I was able to get them, otherwise I would have been out, cause with only 2 per family, it leaves grandma and grandpa out.
It does. It does, yeah, and it's like I said, it's the same thing we've been talking about with this whole thing. It's either we're focused on community health or we're focused on, getting everything up to 100%. I mean, our plan is very much set on community health, and if that is, that's how it's all been designed, to tackle that. And so you're right, it does limit people, and it is supposed to, and it's not because anybody
I wish
wants
it
to,
did.
it's because we're trying to keep, the number of people in the same room different. My family's in the same boat. I've got 2 kids in activities and only so many tickets, so. And so if we wanna get extra tickets, then we have to go find
Like a real big bar
someone
with
to do it,
stealing.
so.
Well, I think it's great that you guys have watched the crowds and recognized that we could up the crowd and still not have an issue. And I think it's very, very good that we're not at a lesser restriction at the football game than what we are attending school. I think that sets a bad I just think it looks bad if we're more strict, if we're limiting the kids at school, but yet we're not limiting the participation in the football game. I think that sets a bad message. And I think if we're, like Adam said, we're roughly 50% is what we're striving for in the school system. I think that makes sense to kind of shoot for the 50% as far as participation in the sporting events and see how that works. Hopefully, we all want to go back 100%. I mean, that's everybody's desire, but we got to do it safely. And I think that's a step in the right direction. Who knows? Maybe by the next game we'll be at 75%.
Well, when you see empty seats everywhere that could have people in them, we haven't had 600 people at a football game in 10 years. I wish we would. There hasn't been 600 people. There hasn't been. I mean, there hasn't not been.
Is that what our 50% is?
That's what-
Roughly.
Now, 50%. So you're thinking 50%
That's
capacity?
25%.
Yeah, 50%.
Okay, well, yeah, it wasn't, because there were lots of tickets.
So then the capacity cap's not the issue.
Well, I guess not, but there were lots of tickets just sitting around at the end before the game started. You know,
True,
we're scrambling
true.
all week trying to get tickets and
So
then,
so the issue is really what Larry's addressing.
Yeah.
Of getting the tickets out to those
Mhm,
that
probably so.
want them, not necessarily the capacity cap.
no, but there's still lots of empty seats.
Agreed, but there probably needs to be some empty seats.
Well, yeah,
in
but
order
I
to
mean,
meet the
way
50%.
empty seats.
But I also saw a group of students that were pretty huddled up close together, and like we said, the masks aren't strictly enforced, so that's kind of creates a little bit of an
That's
issue.
the part
Yeah,
that
we saw
bothers
it
me,
too.
yeah.
Me too.
But
The
some
band-
of
the band's
some of the
close
schools
together,
were even
so
stricter
every
than
single
us.
band. Anybody knows the band? It needs to be spread apart or something.
Yeah, the band.
The
That's
band was right close, they were
that's an
right
issue
beside each
anyway.
other.
I was gonna bring in their mask. Have you guys seen their mask? Oh my gosh.
The bands? I haven't.
Okay, so without getting too
No, because I'm
graphic
not
here,
there.
without getting too graphic here, it looks like a pair of men's underwear that they have to open up in order to put a horn in. What is the purpose behind that? It totally defeats the purpose. There's no reason to wear
Why
a
would-
mask if you make a big opening in the front of it to put a horn in.
Well, you're not sneezing, I guess.
Ridiculous.
I don't know.
Anyway, sorry.
Well, I
just-
mean, football players don't have any masks on out there, so
Neither do
volleyball players, that's what I mean, so.
And they
well,
gotta
the
cover,
whole
they gotta
thing's
cover
doubles.
the bell of the horn, but yet we got all these holes in the
Yeah.
horn where air's coming out anyway. It's
Yeah.
like, just put them in a bubble.
And honestly, volleyball is more of a concern than football because that's within a building,
It's in a
you know,
building.
within a closed area. And I know Tom went to Hayesville with the 7th grade volleyball girls. And he didn't go in the building because he observed it was full and people weren't wearing masks. So he didn't even, so that upsets me that people are willing to do that to our kids. You know, that adults are willing to do that.
So I
Of course,
guess,
that wasn't our adults,
sure. I
but
guess my thing is, I mean, I think we can chase rabbit holes all night on this thing. We all know that. I think the reopening plan that we have in place we all agree that it is a very fluid plan. It has to be because
Mhm.
we're getting told something different on TV every day. And I don't believe half the stuff I'm being told on TV anyway. But I think the staff has shown that they are adapting to local recommendations, and it is local recommendations right now.
Yes.
And I think that's a good step in the right direction. I mean, and hopefully those local recommendations will tell us we can go back to school full tilt.
Yeah.
In another 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever
that's
that's
what we
safe to
all
do it.
want.
But I think the plan, I really appreciate the work that's been done on the plan to try to
No, I think
Keep
that's
it-
great.
keep it fluid, keep it adaptive, keep it current. I think we're going in the right direction.
So are we gonna vote every time, or are we gonna just let it set?
My personal opinion is I don't think we need to. I think I think we all agree that it has to be fluid.
Yeah.
I mean, if we wanna vote, that's great, but
my-
we're gonna have to meet a lot.
I think that my
Yeah.
personal thing is if we, as a board, decide we're done with this, we're gonna open school and we're just gonna throw this away, at that point, we would
Totally.
vote, but since it's a fluid document, I think we're just gonna let it, my personal opinion is just let it ride for right now.
I agree.
That's what I wanna do.
I feel comfortable with the medical
And again, Adam,
input.
I think, has done a great job of keeping
Yes.
us updated on the latest stuff that's coming out.
And at any point, if any of us are not happy regardless, then we call a meeting or discuss it that way.
You know, I'm just one person. I'm more than
Yeah.
happy to meet if we wanna keep meeting to discuss it.
No, I just
but-
mean, at any point, if someone would like to,
Right.
we would, and at least have a discussion or whatever.
I would like to, I'm gonna bring this up every time. Dr. Garmer made a very good point. What about our K through 5?
Yep.
You know, she said in a couple of weeks, we're gonna have to do something with K through 5.
Yep,
And
so that's a good discussion, a discussion we can have this evening actually, and talk about that. We've had some good success with some parents that have been struggling with some issues with the inconvenience of it, that have contacted the schools, and our counselors and administration have been able to adjust things and try to make things better for that family. So we can do things as simple as that. We can also try to, do something more full scale as far as, one of the issues with that is if we get into the use of other buildings, then, you are, with this particular situation, you are unfortunately inviting, more humans into somebody else's facility, and that, with this going on, I it gets a little bit tough on whether, the district wants to be in, to do that with our community partners. So that's definitely up for discussion. I know that we are willing to support any family that contacts us that needs help, with these issues, but,
so
that's something.
you guys are receptive, so the parents do they just call their home school?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, oh yeah, we will always try to help anybody in need regardless. I think, we're in week 4 now, and I don't think it's convenient for anybody. I think our families have adjusted to the inconvenience. But if there's people out there that are still really struggling with this while we try to get through this hybrid time, then we would be happy to try to help.
Mine's not so much the inconvenience, because it's inconvenient no matter what.
Right.
But it's and I don't mean quality, I don't mean that exactly, but it's just hard for a first or second grader to learn how to read at home. I'm just gonna say that every time too,
Well, yeah,
no matter.
and that's where I think Dr. Yarmer is getting,
Yeah.
they need, socially, they need things that our middle schooler and high schoolers don't need. And I think that's where she was kind of getting at, or that's how I took it, was, put them in the auditorium, do whatever you have to do to socially distance, but they need their teachers, they need school all day, and that's kind of what I took from it, so I don't want to ignore that and just
Sure.
push that to the side, because I feel it's important to get the little ones back, like you're saying, kindergarten or first graders, they really need to be in school.
It's just, I was thinking, where could you put it? And then some schools I can find room, sort of. Not make it up, but then other schools, we can't find a closet, and that's what's so unfair and so hard, and,
Are you guys working on options there, Adam?
We are, as far as helping families, we have worked on, trying to help families. We have not had a specific plan put together that has done an entire K through 5 plan, if that's what you mean. As far as, the AM students having somewhere to go and the PM, every single student in the district, we do not have that together. And if that's something the board wants us to look towards, then we can absolutely look towards that. And you'd be looking for places for half your students at each building for the other half of the day, and we'd have to figure everything's possible.
Yeah.
We have a great
Yeah.
community. Everything's possible. like I said before, one of the worries that comes up in that conversation is using other people's buildings and inviting potential disease into their buildings,
And also the materials that would be needed, the smart boards, everything else that would be necessary for it to really be a productive.
and we could probably figure out ways to deal with that.
Yeah.
But
Okay, this is just a crazy idea.
Yep.
But I'm just throwing it out there. We said K through 5, and that, I know that would be ideal, but you said the little ones, and that's kind of what made me think about it, was maybe we do like a K through 3 center and choose, first thing I'm thinking of is Ike's, one of our biggest biggest elementary schools, and kind of set that up as a center for just K through 3, where we can maybe get those kids all day, and space them out across all those classrooms. I don't know. Maybe it's a crazy thought, but I'm just we got to start thinking outside of the box, because we got
The
to
music
do
room
something
there's
different.
huge, I mean, I don't know. And if we do if we get our planning, if we get that all done, we'd have some good answers. I mean, we'd have
Right.
some options, and that would help. Too bad we didn't have that finished and done a year or two ago, but we just can't. I mean, we didn't.
Worst case scenario, we're in this same situation talking about this a year from now. I'm hoping that's not the case, guys. But we can't go through Christmas break and go back right into this same thing.
Right.
I mean, shame on us if we allow that to happen. We need to have something in place for after Christmas break if we're still dealt this lousy hand.
And if the numbers haven't reached.
Right.
a
Yeah, if we're dealt
terrible-
this lousy hand, we gotta start coming up with something
Yeah,
that's a little different than.
And
what we're doing.
it could even be something where we, instead of just trying to do K through 3, K through 5, is go full, kindergarten, bring those online and get
Yeah.
that rolling, and then bring first grade and just kind of
Yeah.
step it out instead of just trying to go full on.
yeah, we'll start talking about ideas for
Let's
this.
talk about it. Yeah, we know. Okay, does anybody have anything else they'd like to share about the milking plan or health guidelines? Okay, we still need to plan our planning session.
Yes, tonight originally was a planning session, and we need to get that rescheduled. And was looking for ideas. Most of the time, what we have been doing, which we can change, is we have been obviously meeting the Monday between the two board meetings, which is what tonight would have been. So if we were to do that again, it would be on October 26th. That being as late as it is, then we also have obviously October 5th or October 19th on the other side of the board meetings to.
October 5th doesn't work for me.
Okay.
But
The 12th is a regular meeting.
12th is a regular meeting, yes. So we could do the 19th, or we could do the regular spot on the 26th of October.
I'm
I'd
thinking
probably
the
do any of those days.
26th is not gonna work for me either.
I just miss ball games if I don't have anything to do.
That's your life and it's
That's my life, yeah,
important.
I don't, yeah.
I'm in the same boat, that's why
Yeah.
I miss this ball game, so.
I can do anything.
Yeah.
No travel. My kids would have moved away.
Well, I'm not traveling either,
And
and that isn't
And
it.
that's assuming we're doing Mondays. I'm just,
Yeah.
if we change it to a different day, I'm just saying that's our typical, but obviously we can look at other days if the board would like.
No, I prefer Mondays. Would the 19th work for everybody?
That's October 19th?
Okay for me.
That'd be
That's fine with
one-
me, yeah.
So it'd be 1 week after our next board meeting.
26th is a little bit better for me, but I can make the 19th work.
Thank you.
So we're gonna do the 19th.
19th at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Say we could pick a different weekday if it's not a Monday.
in that
Chris, that work for you?
too.
Yeah, I already put it in.
Okay.
Is that what you're doing, Larry? You
Another
put it
day,
in?
that's
Yep.
okay.
I'm good to go.
7?
Okay.
19th at 7? Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Really good and think about it between now and then, we can probably wrap it up.
And as far as
Just
the,
kidding.
as far as getting tickets out there, how logistically, I know we could probably use the Crusader alerts to say, hey, there's 75 tickets, but then where do you send them to get the tickets?
We have been doing that, but it's been at the high school office.
Okay.
Typically, though, it's been targeted towards students up to this point. I'll talk to Luke and see what his thoughts are. The system that he's trying to go to with the digital system may solve some of these issues.
Okay.
I don't know the details on that yet. I just know he's trying to move towards that, and that may take care of some of this.
Because that's just the fear too, is if you send general public 75, hey, all the students who've got their tickets, we got 75 extra. Now you have a chance of 75 extra vehicles showing up when people are trying to get out of the school, so.
Yep.
So I guess we can have them come to the district office, right?
Yeah, just have them on. It's all good. We'll sit out on the stairs and
There you go.
pass them out.
Do a little drive-through.
Yep, that's right.
Anyway, that's
Okay. Now we need executive session, of course.
I make a motion that we go into executive session. We'll take a 3-minute break and we'll start at 7:40 for 15 minutes to include the administration team to talk about legal matters. Regular meeting will resume at 7:55.
Nice job. All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Second.
I'll second it tonight.
Okay, we want you.
Nice job.
Nice job.
Yeah.
Sit here.
Yeah, we can just stay there.
We probably ought to kill the video.
Yeah, we can.
Oh, you don't have your, you can't watch it because you don't have your computer.
Okay, we've already discussed that.
Oh, there it is,
There we
okay.
Okay, we're back in regular session. Does anyone have any comments or? Anything? Okay, meeting adjourned.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
No, I